Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to discuss for Gemini how will be the Jupiter's transit in Pisces will be, as Jupiter is traveling in Pisces from April 2022 to April 2023. We would see how the transit will be for Gemini moon sign, sun sign or ascendant, and Jupiter will be in 10th house from Moon, which doesn't say good things about this transit. It can lead to mental depression, bad health, and disputes regarding inherited property, demotion in career, and bosses will get angry without any rhyme and reason. Loss of status can also be predicted. Disorder of lungs, cough, tuberculosis, tiredness, and the native will lose his confidence even if when the Jupiter natal one and transiting are 410 to each other, and moon and Jupiter natal moon and Jupiter is also 410 to each other. Despite this, 10th house for Jupiter is always bad, so this won't give good results for Gemini moon sign. Now let's see if the natal Jupiter is in the second house in Cancer. It is exalted here. Now natal and transiting Jupiter are 5-9 to each other, even if natal moon and natal Jupiter are 212 to each other. But Jupiter in second, as it is give good effects and horoscope. Health will be fine as natal Jupiter is aspecting 6th house also and 8th house also, both short-term diseases, and transiting Jupiter is aspecting 6th house. So problem with inheritance will also go away as this Jupiter has made this house very good by aspecting it. Career will prosper. Property buying will be beneficial as Jupiter in 10th by aspecting 4th can show that you can buy property at this time. Now let's see natal Jupiter in Leo. Now Jupiter, natal and transiting are 6-8 to each other. Natal Jupiter is third from Moon, which is not a good place for Jupiter to be in. Transiting Jupiter in 10th house, so there'll be problems galore. Loss of job can be there. Displeasure of the superiors can be expected. Loss of material possessions like land, valuable possessions like jewelry can also be expected at this point of time for people who have Jupiter in Leo with moon, sun, or ascendant is Gemini. When the natal Jupiter is in Virgo, it gives slightly better results because Gachkesri Yoga is there, and Jupiter natal and transiting Jupiter are in Kendra to each other. So gain of wealth can be there, mother's health will be fine, and new job is also promised at this point of time. Even if the old job ends, but with the promise of new job, that loss of job doesn't bother you much, and this will be good position for Jupiter's transit. Now let's see natal Jupiter in Libra. It is in fifth house, fifth ninth from moon, but natal Jupiter and transiting Jupiter are 6-8 to each other. So problem to children will be there if third or fourth paraya of Jupiter is running. If first or second paraya of Jupiter is there, then break in education can be there where because of some involvement in scandal, that break in education can take place, and loss of education and break in education is promised in this transit of Jupiter. Jupiter in sixth house in Scorpio. Here, the marriage life will be suffering, career promotion can take place because seventh lord in this situation is in sixth, and now Jupiter is in 10th. It all leads to break in married life. So this is not the good place for Jupiter to be in, specifically in natal and transiting. This combination can really give hard time in your marital relationship, can lead up to divorce also if divorce is promised in the horoscope. How the transit will be when the natal Jupiter is in the Sagittarius. So in its own Rashi, it gives Panch Mahapurush Yoga also. So here the Jupiter transit in Pisces won't give much bad effect. Especially career will be very good. Gain of luxurious items will be there and expansion of business will be there. If you you are in service, then your boss will be pleased with you. So it's a good way to go in this transit. Now let's see Jupiter in Capricorn in 8th house. Shatashtak dosh is there between Moon and Jupiter in this horoscope. And this is a bad situation to be in, and debilitated Jupiter, even if natal Jupiter and transiting Jupiter are 311 to each other, it won't work here. Loss of job can be there. If a businessman's horoscope is there, then problems in business. But if good dasha is running along with Jupiter, then native can buy a land. But with by taking a lot of loan, then he can buy land or build up property in this transit period. Natal Jupiter in Aquarius, how the transit will be for moon sign, sun sign, and ascendant Gemini people. This transiting and natal Jupiter are 212 to each other, 5-9 to moon, natal moon, and 4-10 to transiting Jupiter. Expansion in professional life, good education, might go abroad in this transit, because if you are applying for a visa in this transit, visa can be granted and it will be good for you to go over there. And this can promise marriage also if the second or third paraya is running of Jupiter. Jupiter, natal Jupiter is in Pisces. This is good sign to be, because Jupiter will be on top of Jupiter and profession will be benefited very nicely, but health will be affected badly. Tuberculosis can be predicted if the promise of tuberculosis is there in the natal horoscope. Loss of valuable articles can't be ruled out here, even if the natal moon and transiting Jupiter is also making Gajkesri Yoga. Jupiter in this condition is making Panch Mahapurush Yoga. But still, moon to Jupiter 10th, both in transiting Jupiter in 10th is bad, even if it comes on top of the natal Jupiter. When the natal Jupiter is in Aries, 212 condition of natal and transiting Jupiter, fulfillment of desires will be obstructed because the Jupiter is transiting 12th house from the natal Jupiter. Profession will take backstage as domestic problems will be too much. All the natives' attention will be on the solving of those problems. He won't give attention to other people. Friends will also not benefit because again 12th position of transiting Jupiter to the natal Jupiters. He might lose friends in this transit. In Taurus, when the natal Jupiter is in Taurus, 212, moon Jupiter are 212 and 311 of this, but right now the Fines and taxes will be crippling. At this time, hurdles in foreign travel will also be there. Loss of reputation, and superiors will be against the native, where native's life will become very bad, and no good things can be promised in this transit. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe, share, and like the video. Thank you very much.